Oh, pick up the camera. My goodness.
Welcome to another episode of
The
Epic Family Road Trip.
So I think we've seen how many moose?
About 4 or 5 moose so far, and now a lynx. Who knows, maybe a bear. The moose just trotted off into the forest.
Crazy. So that was
Big mother moose, a big cow, and 2 beautiful little calves trotting across the road. I think we got very good video of it, but it was nice to see. There's a big old bear. I had a feeling we'd see one. After 7 days on the road, we've come all the way from the Pacific Ocean 7 days ago to the Great Lakes, and we are exactly a half an hour from the island. Whew. We're exhausted. It's a lot of driving, but we're excited. We're going to pack up some of the basics tonight, head across the lake before it gets dark, and get the cabin reopened and get the generator started and all the comforts at home. And then tomorrow we'll spend some time unloading the motorhome and the Jeep and getting ready for a beautiful summer at the lake, off the grid at the cabin. Alright, we just arrived, parked the motorhome. We're gonna borrow a boat from the marina here to get into the island. Our boat's in the boathouse, so we have to get that, and then head on out here and get all our gear. We're pretty excited. And this little dog is obviously pretty excited too. We've loaded everything into the pontoon boat that we need for tonight. And we're heading out. It's good to be here, that's for sure. There's lots of bugs on the mainland, but it won't be so bad on the shore. These little guys last about 2 weeks and then they're gone. Burgers on the barbecue. That's the first meal up here at the island, and we are just carrying in stuff, carrying out stuff. We still have Paul's boat. We got to get ours off the rack today, but things are starting to look up. I feel like home. Carol's garden is survived the winter, and we're gonna go get some plants probably tomorrow and get them started. So yeah, first day at the island is pretty exciting, and it's a beautiful, beautiful day. We've had the boat up in here, up off the water for the winter. That's how we winterize it. Keeps it nice and safe, high and dry. And now we are lowering it down using this pulley system. And we'll see if she starts. Probably will. We got the boat down and it works perfectly well, no problems at all. And now we're gonna take this boat back and use our boat until we get a bigger one, which is something we're looking at. It's an option.
So to get our hot tub filled up, we didn't want to use our little pump and hose that big. That'd take hours. So we went to the marina and they had a massive pump that will probably fill it up in like 3 minutes. So we're gonna get this thing set up, fire it up, and fill up the tub. It's gonna be beauty. First bass of the year. Nice. First cast of the year. I know.
Pushing in this big old dock that when the water went really high, the dock disconnected itself from the moorings by the island and started floating out to the middle of the lake. So I'm just sitting here. I tried pulling it for a while, that had some success, but pushing it seems to be better, and it's moving very, very slowly. This thing's huge, very heavy, but we're getting closer by the minute here, so we'll see if we can get it in beside the island, tie it off, and hope it doesn't blow away again. Just leaving it in the middle of the lake would be dangerous. If a boat was flying by and didn't see it, they could get into some trouble, so trying to get her off the lake. This should fill the hot tub up pretty quick. It'd be nice to get in there on a chilly, rainy day.
Where's my helper? Huh? This morning we had about 50 leftover bags from last year stacked here, and we're making the garden bigger down over this way for potatoes and squashes, zucchini, that kind of stuff that needs a lot more room.
Okay, so we filled the tub and it leaked out through all the cracks because what we're trying to do is swell the cedar. It's kiln dried when it's shipped, so it's smaller than its actual size. And you put it together and then you make it wet with water inside of it as often as possible. Sometimes it takes 5 days. It could even take 2 weeks of doing this every day until the wood absorbs enough water that it swells and closes the gaps. So you can see it's leaking out of a few of the gaps right there, but they're getting smaller and smaller every day. So yesterday when we filled it up, it was pouring out of everywhere, and then overnight it kind of soaked in, and now it's much better. So I'm hoping in the next couple of days all those gaps will close, we can fill it up, and then we can start the wood fire and get in there. So anyway, that's the plan. The rain, it's raining now, is helping as well keep that all the cedar moist and so on, so that's a good thing. We also got our smoker going for the first time and have a nice little roast in there. Man, it smells so good. This is when we were traveling around, we can barbecue and we can cook and we can use the scuttle, but one thing we were missing was a smoker, and the kids kept saying, oh, I can't wait to get back up there so we can fire up that smoker and just enjoy the smell. So we are enjoying it.
just crossed the lake out here. This was our favorite spot because there was, well, first of all, it's great fishing. There's a nice ledge for largemouth, pike, and a lot of smallmouth. But there used to be main dock that floated off our island. It was just a massive dock, and it ended up here because it gets pretty shallow over there. But it's now gone. Season just opened today, Saturday. So we're out here to catch some fish. Here we go. Biggest bass so far. It's a decent largemouth.
That's not a largemouth.
It's a largemouth.
It's a smallmouth.
Oh, whatever, smallmouth. We're gonna let him go because he is fighting. So we're not having too much luck. Den's caught the only 2 fish so far, but beautiful glow after the sunset. But there is an insane amount of bugs out right now. It's actually pretty unbearable, but we're gonna do a few more casts, see if we can't catch one more fish, and then if we don't end up catching anything, or if it just doesn't seem too active, then we're gonna call it a day. Yeah, so we're gonna head back. There's just too many bugs and too little bites. If there's a bit more action going on here, wow, my hands get covered as soon as I start filming. If there's a bit more action going on here, probably would stay. Be worth risking the bug bites, but it's pretty early this year. We're coming up here earlier than we did last year. Last year was a lot warmer and a lot less bugs, but they really only last until July, and then it gets too hot for this many mosquitoes, and then mosquitoes die off as August comes along. But great time.
So our internet didn't work when we got up here, and I think over the winter they had a lot of snow and ice up here, so the satellite got out of adjustment and it needed a new LMB. So anyway, had the repair guy come in this morning and we're back in business.
Today's the big day, putting in part of the garden. Caroline and Dad were kind enough to go and get me a bunch of plants, and that was a nice surprise. So we'll have good fresh vegetables for the summer and hopefully in the fall too. So here we go. Alright, so we got it kind of laid out. We need a little bit more herbs and a few other plants, but I think it's going to be really, really yummy.
Alright, so we just filled it up again. This is the 4th day, I believe. And as you can see, the cracks are starting to fill together and the staves are starting to swell, which is great. Yesterday that was pouring out of there like crazy. Overnight it must have swelled up a little bit, and so now it's just a much smaller leak. So the water's staying a lot longer than it used to. It used to just drain right out. So it's exciting. I mean, there's still a lot of water. You can see this That's how much water is draining out right now. But it's getting better, so a couple more days I think, and we might be in a place where we can use it. If the water drains really slowly, we can get a fire going and heat the water up. I think that'll help it absorb into the wood even faster. So that's the plan for now. So we just lit our first ever fire in the stove. The water seems to be staying in pretty good. Now it's just a matter of seeing if it'll actually heat up the water, which I'm sure it will. The entire wood stove is submerged in here. It's cold, cold lake water, but yeah, let's give it an hour and see what happens. It's starting to warm up. It's not warm yet, but it's not frozen. Got a good little fire going in there, and we just stir the water around to mix it evenly, and once it heats up, I think I'm gonna jump in there today. Not today, for sure, Father's Day, tomorrow. Alright, so we've got some beef tenderloin that we've put on the smoker. Gonna get it seared on both sides and then let it smoke for about 55 minutes. Should be medium rare. Some beautiful, we can cut some beautiful fillets off of that.
I'm so nervous. The boat. Okay. Me and Dan came up to the cliff and we're gonna jump in the lake even though it's ice cold. And it's cold out. Cliff. No! Yeah, Dan's the first anyone on the cliff. Oh, oh, pick up the camera. My goodness. Oh, that was ice cold. That took my breath away. I've never swam so fast in my life. That was intense. That was frozen. Oh. Oh man, so me and Dan just did the first swim and cliff jump of the year, 2019. I thought the water was warmer than it was. It was ice cold. But we felt it in the tub while it's filling up, and that's only your finger once your whole body's in there. And it's supposed to be deep. I was just trying to get up as fast as I could, and then I never swam so fast getting back to the boat. Basically flew into the boat. But that's speedy.
See you down the road.